a voluptuous and kind-hearted Wiccan priestess. That small gathering honoring the ancestors sparked the beginning of my conscious intention to pursue an earth-centered spiritual life. But my mother's Wicca friend soon moved to Great Britain, and I didn't know how to find the spiritual guidance I craved. So I continued to feel called to a spiritual life and yet adrift at the same time. Then I began taking African dance. Near the studio was a botanica, a store for practitioners of Orisha tradition, then most widely known in the United States as Santeria. One afternoon on my way home from class, I stopped in to browse. A feeling of familiarity, of home, filled me. The books and artifacts spoke of God in nature, of spirits and rituals, of altars and magic. From that day forward, I read everything I could find about Orisha and soon discovered John Mason. Mason wrote of prayer in a very different way from the other books on Orisha I was reading. His concept went beyond praying only in ceremony and in front of shrines. It extended further than petitioning the deities for assistance and giving thanks to the ancestors. It was prayer as a quality of awareness and a state of being. In Mason's view, the world is a sacred landscape, and a seamless connection exists between God and all things in creation, between God and me. This was a spiritual path I could envision myself walking along. It was prayer I could taste on my tongue. I immersed myself in literature about Yoruba tradition and soon realized I needed to study with an elder. But I had moved to a small beach town where none were available to me, so I continued trying to apply what I was learning from books to my daily life. I confided my fears and dreams to Yemaya, goddess of salt waters, cycles, and tides. In my journal, I wrote little prayer poems to Ilegwa, opener of doors. I created altars like the ones with which I'd grown up, but with the Orisha or the ancestors in mind. Like my mother, I collected rocks, shells, and other altar pieces from nature and placed them next to candles and prayers to the deities, which I wrote on brightly colored paper. Also, like my mother, I lived with a gray cloud of depression hovering over me. My soul was in need of healing, and I began taking my struggles and pain to the Orisha. I'd walk the seashores and mountain tops surrounding my home, praying simply and timidly. I'd think to myself, surely I am insignificant to these great deities. How dare I call upon Yemaya, mother of the world, and Ilegwa, the Creator's right hand, without full knowledge of and formal commitment to Yoruba tradition? Why should they pay attention to me when I don't even know the proper rituals and the right prayers? But despite my lack of knowledge, guidance, and experience, the Orisha were clearly listening. However improper my sacrifice to Yemaya, mother of the oceans, I could feel her healing waters lapping against and smoothing the hardened places within me. However inadequate my prayers were to Ilegwa, keeper of the threshold and guardian of life force energy, he nonetheless responded to them. I always knew my solitary learning was in preparation for finding an elder to guide me deep into this powerful tradition. I now believe that the most viable road to Orisha is one charted by those who know the full depth, breadth, and power of the tradition. The best guides are Yoruba elders, who've had extensive experience with Orisha's rituals and practices, and seen lives, particularly their own, transformed by them. Had the right teacher been available to me sooner, I would have jumped at the chance. Still, I learned some valuable lessons during the solo leg of my journey, the most important being that the strength and quality of my spiritual path were ultimately up to me.